Epic Games has always been very, very tough in their fight against cheaters and keeping Fortnite as fair playing ground for everybody. But there's still a few techniques that get slipped through the cracks. What's up, everybody? Chaos here. Today, we're going to look at an updated list of 10 cheats allowed in Fortnite Battle Royale. These are techniques and mechanics that were clearly not put in the game by the developers, but have become very, very popular methods of play by the community, despite them not actually being in the game on purpose. So if you're familiar with any of these, you let me know in the comment section as we go through. And drop a like if you have more than 10 total wins. That's solo, duos, and squads in Fortnite. Let's get started. Okay, starting things off is the Super Launch Pad. This is a very popular technique that was discovered when the bounce pads were re-added to the game and then popularized when people started testing them out more in playground mode. The Super Launch Pad is when you set down a launch pad and then a bounce pad right in front of it. Then you jump into the bounce pad at an angle. Well, you angle yourself so you bounce back and you immediately hit the launch pad, which will shoot you up into the sky way higher than the default launch pad will, giving you a much longer glide distance, and it allows you to scout the area for a few extra seconds. The Super Launch Pad has become a very popular mobility combo in Fortnite, and I honestly doubt Epic will ever patch it out. A lot of people would be very, very upset if they did. At number 9, Porta Rift item grabs. Now, this is something that has made the Rift on the go a much, much better item than we probably expected. The Rift to Go, or the Porta Rift, as many players have started calling it, is a pretty new item that takes up an item slot and opens up a rift for 10 seconds when it's activated. Now, the trade-off for this very powerful item is the fact that you have to open up an inventory space in order to use it. However, it didn't take long for players to realize that if you activated the Porta Rift and then you mashed the pickup button on an item, you could still grab an item to replace it, despite the fact that the inventory slot is already used. This eliminates the price of having to drop another item in order to use a Porta Rift, since you could still grab another item before you shoot up into the sky if you time your button mashing right. At number 8, ramp warping. Here we have a very annoying technique that has become it's become actually a pretty big central part of the metagame. As you probably know, if you place a build down and there's a person in the middle of it, a hitbox of the build will not actually come in until there is no other player. This has led to a new meta evolving where you constantly push at people in build fights, allowing you to warp through their builds and get as close to them as you can. A lot of players have been trying to get Epic to change this mechanic due to how annoying it is to have someone walk through your build in the middle of a fight. But I honestly don't know what else they could do in order to fix it. So if you have a suggestion, let me know in the comment section. This month's giveaway is for a new PlayStation 4 console. All you have to do to enter is drop a like on this video, be subscribed to the channel, and turn on your notifications so you never miss an upload. And in the comment section, let me know why you want to win the PS4 and include your Twitter handle so I can contact you if you're the winner. The winner will be announced at the end of the month. At number 7, pyramid peeking. This is a popular technique that has been popularized by players like Tfue and the TSM boys. Pyramid peeking is when you build a 1x1, put a roof on top of you, and then put a pyramid on top of your roof. Then you can edit out of the roof and start peeking through the pyramid by glitching through the builds. This not only gives you extra visibility while remaining covered, but it also gives you the ability to instantly edit yourself out of the top of your 1x1 and attack someone who may not even know that you've been tracking their every move. Pyramid peeking has been a pretty massive part of competitive play, and we saw it a lot during the Summer Skirmish series, but I honestly would be surprised if Epic patched it out. After all, they patched out the ability to see through your builds in the edit screen, and this new technique is basically just a workaround of doing that. So if you ask me, you should probably enjoy this technique while it lasts, because it's probably not going to last forever. At number 6, guided rocket riding. When the guided rocket was originally in the game, fans were pretty mad about how blatantly overpowered it was. This caused Epic to pull it out for a few weeks, and then they added it back with a ton of changes. Now, the guided rocket moves way, way slower, does way less damage, and the general consensus is that it's a balanced weapon. But one of the biggest perks of the original guided rocket was the ability to rocket ride your buddy and drive them around like a living drone with a machine gun. So did Epic patch that out when they brought it back? No, you can still totally rocket ride people with a guided rocket, allowing you to quickly and precisely shoot your teammates into an enemy's build for intense pressure. You guys think it's a little too good, not good, don't care, balance, what? Do you think rocket riding should be reserved for the standard rocket launcher where it's harder to be really precise, or are you cool with it being with the guided missile? Cracking into the top 5 today, bounce pad catches. This is a pretty awesome mechanic that was popularized by Tim the Tatman. As you probably know, the bounce pads cancel your fall damage after you jump on them, but they also cancel your fall damage if you land on them. This led to people using them to save themselves from high falls, but Tim popularized a technique that honestly I still can't believe is possible. If you are falling out of the sky, you can super quickly build a ramp and drop a bounce pad on it almost instantly to save yourself from the fall. The reason this works is because you can build a ramp at a lower height, then you can build a floor or a wall since the ramp is slanted downwards. So if you are really tight with your timing, you can actually build a ramp and immediately switch to a bounce pad to save yourself and prevent yourself from ever taking fall damage again. At number 4, the elevator. This is a technique that I like to call the elevator, and it was made popular by Tfue. One of the most frustrating parts of Fortnite is getting into a build fight and then getting stuck high up in the air with nothing to build on to get yourself back down. Well, that's where the elevator comes in handy. By dropping down out of the build, but also holding down the wall button while falling, you can make a brand new wall and then eventually build a floor or a ramp on that new wall while you're falling to break your fall damage. This is a very, very good way and a quick way to get down from build fights without having to risk fall damage. Just be careful with your timing or you might end up splattering onto the ground below like Tfue did in Game 3 of the Summer Skirmish Week 8. That was a rough one to watch, and once again, it all comes down to your timing. At number 3, tunnel traps. It's a very sneaky play that I've seen a few people use, not as much lately, but down in Dusty Divot, you know there are all these little tunnels that you can run through that are made of metal. What you may not have known is that you can actually trap these tunnels in a way that the enemy can never see it. This is old school, but I wanted to put it on here. By building a wall on the outside of the tunnel and then putting a trap on it, you can actually get the trap to shoot through the walls of the tunnel when the players step onto the tile. And it's pretty tricky because the player who sets it off will have literally no idea what just happened. And personally, I think this may be a little too good, but I could be wrong there. But it definitely, I don't think the developers of Epic Games intended this one to be in there. At number 2, we have the double harvest. This is yet another technique that was popularized by good old Tfue. The double harvest is achieved by binding the wave emote to a key so you can have instant access to it on your keyboard. So this is for all you PC players. Then when you swing your pickaxe, you hit that wave emote and then you swing again. This will allow you to do the first swinging animation a second time with much less time in between the swings than the default speed, which, of course, is going to allow you to harvest your materials twice as fast since the first swing of the pickaxe will actually happen twice. And there's all kinds of cancel animations that we see throughout all games, and this one is definitely one of the go-to ones that all of your pros are definitely taking advantage of. And finishing off our list today, hidden traps. Now, it's another way to get people with traps without them even knowing, but this one is a little more sneaky than the Dusty Divot one. So, first, let me set the scene for you guys, okay? You know how sometimes you're building up a mountain and you get those annoying situations where your wall goes into the side of the mountain and there's only like a quarter of the wall sticking out of it, right? We've all been there, right? What if I told you guys that you can actually put a trap on those walls despite the fact that barely any of it is sticking out of the mountain? Next time you have some traps and you're on a mountainside, build a wall at an angle where there is only a teeny bit of it sticking out. Then I want you to slap a trap on it and build a ramp in front of it to cover it up, and bam, presto. You've got a completely hidden trap for any unsuspecting enemy running up the mountain. And with the beauty that is theater mode, if you ever get this to work, definitely go back and clip it and shoot it to me on Twitter, because it will probably make it in the Saturday Fortnite plays of the week, because it's absolutely hilarious. And there you go, guys. Those are 10 technical cheats. They're cheats. They're called cheats because they're not supposed to be in the game, but some of them are passive enough that Epic seems to just allow them. They do add for some, I guess you could say, dynamic gameplay in Fortnite. Those are some of the cheats that are still allowed in Fortnite. If you have some that nobody else knows about, let us know in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, take a second, hit the like button and the subscribe button at the same time. You need to cancel your animation, make it happen, and then also make sure you ring that bell and turn on the notification so you can cheat YouTube sub box and never miss an upload. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you found it informative, and I will see you soon.